Stadium.
Got lots of love, love. 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 Got lots of love, love.
What is up? Welcome to the mid-season tournament here at CGL Season 12. My name is Jeff alongside Tim, and we've got some EU console open division going on here today. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we're in mid-season tournament. Like, we've got loser pick. I mean, it's got a playoff 5 to it, Tim.
Oh yeah, of course. This is going to be a very important game for both these teams. Obviously, a lot of tournament implications on the line in this matchup, and really just going to be a good game overall. We got two teams here who obviously they had to win a playoff game to get here. They had to win a tournament game to get here, so we know that they have something to show here. And overall, it's going to be a very, very good matchup.
Yeah, let's take a look at that bracket and we can see exactly how our team has got to this point. As we pull that up beneath us, you can look at the very bottom of your screen there. You see KABA KACHOW got a 3-0 over Ivy Azure to get themselves into this spot. It's Airfry Mariana Trench who will be their opponent today as they took the 3-1 over Oblivion T6 yesterday. Got to see a little bit of that one on stream, and well, it gave us a bit of insight as to what we can expect from Airfry. KABA KACHOW still a little bit of a mystery to us just because we haven't gotten to see them as much here on broadcast.
Yeah, for sure. And Airfry, again, they had a really good match against Oblivion T6, a couple days ago, I believe. And we got to see a lot of good stuff from, well, really both of those teams, but specifically Airfry looked very, very good. We got to see a lot of really good DPS play as well. We saw the Sojourn, the Orisa BAP. I feel like, although there was a patch, or there is going to be a patch, very recently, I think we probably will see very similar comps that they played in that last game. And KABA KACHOW, again, we don't really know much about them, but obviously they're pretty good. They've made it this far. They've shown that they are a very good team, so we'll have to see how they do in this game. Yeah,
we do know who's going to be starting for them, so we can at least provide you with that. Get a feel for the 5 players you will see hitting the battlefield as we get into this semifinal matchup. Elemental on the tank will be definitely, our eyes are drawn, particularly if they want to stick with this Junker Queen look. Past that, it's a matter of how does this come together. KABA KACHOW coming in 4-0, so their synergy's got to be pretty darn good here, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of these players have played together before. 3 of their starters used to play on a team called Team Cosmos, so they have that synergy, and they probably had that synergy for a while. They're probably their strength is going to be their Queen Rush, so it's going to be something that we're going to have to see here. I do think Junker Queen's pretty good on this patch, and we'll see how much value they're going to be able to get.
That'll take us on over to their opponents as we bring up Airfry Mariana Trench. Rex Auto Radio had an all-star performance yesterday, primarily, almost exclusively on the Orisa, despite giving us the D.Va as their favorite tank in their sheet. I anticipate we'll see more of that today. Very Orisa-centered comps. Another one to look at is Ank. I don't know if that's what the intended pronunciation was. It's the best from what we got. That's what we're going with. We're going with Ank. Played a ton of Sojourn yesterday as well, and was highly, highly effective on it. Certainly going to be a cornerstone of the win conditions and what AFMT are wanting to do here.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Inc., that Sojourn's very, very strong. If they can run that Orisa Sojourn Baptiste, if they can get good maps for that, I think they're going to see a lot of success today. It's definitely one of their strongest comps, but one of the key things we're going to have to look at here is we're going to see Mini playing the flex support, something they played in their last game. They're listed as a DPS player, but they have been pulling out that support. Their Baptiste has looked very strong. I think that those mechanics are going to transfer over to a character like that, and probably we are going to see it a lot today, so it's going to be see how they're going to be able to use this comp to their advantage.
Yeah, and we are going to get a bit of a swap. It will actually be Jonah in here, not Jot, playing the flex support role. Many, I believe, will play main support. We saw a little bit of Baptiste, but mostly played Lucio in the one map we saw Mini yesterday that was on Esperanza. Jonah played the entire time. There we go. Hey, look at that. On the fly swaps coming through from Prod. So yeah, that'll be our expectations. Again, Mini barely played at all. Ken listed as a support player, played DPS for 3 of the 4 maps yesterday, but he did get a little bit of careless there in that 4th map. Speaking of maps, let's take a look at the ones that we will see today here for our semifinal matchup. Starting off on Ilios, it'll be loser pick throughout the rest of the day. Going into hybrid, we will get Flashpoint here for map number 3. Guaranteed to see it. It's going to be a first here in CGL Season 12, debuting here in the mid-season tournament, and then rounding things out with a little push and some escort if we need that map 5.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be heading into our next map soon, and we will be playing on the Ruins, on Ilios Ruins to start out. So I do think we can see this Junker Queen versus Orisa matchup if both of these teams are going to favor, those comps, in their own, respects. So, I mean, I do think they're both very strong on this map. We will see Airfry. They're going to start on that Orisa. They're actually going to be playing the Ashe, which we haven't really seen as much. But Baptista from Mini is going to be really key as well. Jonah's going to be playing the Alari. Most like Ken's going to play, but I mean, their comp's very good sustain. Yeah, they're going to be running the Bastion. They're going to be running the Bastion a lot to kind of hold space and play for these, pretty longer fights. KABA KACHOW, they're going to probably play for a little bit faster. They're running the Brig Lucio. They have the Junker Queen. They want to get onto the back line of Airfry in this, in these first fights. If they can get some good ult rotation going, and they're set up very well for the rest of the map. Well, we'll see how it goes. They're going to TP out of spawn. Zombie's going to swap to the Sojourn. So again, they're going to try and get some angles here. They're going to hopefully get on that back line of Airfry, but we'll see how this first fight's going to start out for them.
Yeah, it's one of the weaknesses of the Yari with the Baptiste is once you close the distance, there's not a lot to defend against it. So Elemento needs to get in there with the speed of Waters, and that's exactly what they're doing. Going in deep, and immediately Ink gets caught out. One of the slower members of the three that are very vulnerable. Immortality Field used early heal as well. Jonah is able to get a bit of a response, so it's a support for DPS, and Mini is able to strike back as well. So it's a 3v4, make that a 3v3. Zombie comes in over the top, lands a decent amount of shots, but not quite able to lock it in. Perhaps still getting warm here in this first round. It's going to be Airfry grabbing first control.
Yeah, really, both those teams get really split, but KABA KACHOW is able to just get the picks, and they're able to sustain a little bit. Airfry is able to get the point, though, so very good in this next fight if they're going to be able to hold this point, but it looks like KABA KACHOW is going to try and take it out.
KABA KACHOW almost got it completely flipped over, and eventually does, as Rex on our radio steps off to deal with the Elemental behind him, deal with the Junker Queen that was stepping behind. But, with the Junker Queen going down, Airfryer in a perfect position to take this thing right on back as everybody moves on to this point. A little bit of contestation coming through from the Lucio, but driven away, and the flip is right back there. That Energy Javelin not quite hitting the mark, but a lot of space control here for Airfry thus far.
Yeah, and they're going to be swapping to the Mei, which is really big because it's going to slow down Elemental on the Junker Queen. And obviously, KABA KACHOW, they want to play fast. They want to play as quick as they can with this Junker Queen comp. But, Ken is going to be able to slow them down. Now you're going to have both the support. So Window comes out, it finds the Lucio really early on in this fight.
Oh, what timing out of Mini. Saw that Waters and the rest of KABA KACHOW wanted to go in the moment. Waters oversteps Mini, drops that amplification matrix, and it's easy pickings for Hank.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're looking at this next fight for Airfry. They're going to have 4 ultimates, and KABA KACHOW, yeah, they're going to be able to build some. They're going to have 4 of their own, hopefully by the time this next fight starts. But if Airfry can play fast with some of these key ultimates, like their Blizzard or like their Captive Sun, they could be able to win this fight before KABA KACHOW really has any time to respond. But we have to see the rally. The rally is going to be huge to counter, or maybe they're going to try and go fast with the Sojourn. It's going to be a really interesting play to see.
Oh no! Ken stepped way too far forward trying to find the Blizzard and gets taken out early. And Airfry, who should have had a very clear advantage, and it turns into a swift and decisive fight win for KABA KACHOW.
Yeah, and they used the rally, they used Junker Queen ult, but yeah, they were able to win that pretty quickly. So, I mean, going into this next fight, you have both of your DPS ults, and Airfry doesn't necessarily have too much to counter it other than either killing the DPS or just using the Immortality Field. But again, we have to look at the Airfry. They have 4 ults. They should, in theory, be able to win this as long as they're able to walk in safely.
Oh, yeah, I was at Ink landed 2 back-to-back shots, gets the dynamite kill on to Zombie to start things out. Shadow 3K backing all the way up to point. Trying to find an opportunity to pull out this blade, see if they can equalize, but they continue to lose reinforcements around them. Now stepping out into dangerous territories. Airfry has already managed to flip the point. Shadow 3K has to run all the way back for the Mega. Ink is able to turn attention forward. Elemento falls on the objective, and KABA KACHOW are split up all over the place, and they're running out of time.
Yeah, and again, Airfry, they still have 3 ultimates. They're going to be able to sustain this, and Jonah gets a pick on Shadow 3K early.
Yeah, it's going to be the Terror Surge thrown out with the Captive Sun. Managed to grab a couple with that. Jonah falling out of the sky. Not quite able to solidify that final kill, but with a Blizzard on point, it's almost impossible for Elemental and company to even get close to try to contest. As Airfry will grab our first sub-map, starting us off on Ruin strong.
Yeah. Really what goes on there is you have to look at the comp from Airfry. It's just going to be hard for KABA KACHOW to really get solid in-game comp. I mean, you're not really going to be able to play that quickly because the Orisa is going to, kind of push you back consistently. And we saw in that last fight, Zombie just got picked off early because they can't sustain off angles on the side of KABA KACHOW. So Airfry them out, forced them out of that angle, and they were able to get the pick, and it helped them push in without even having to use that many ults. And now for Well, I mean, we'll see run out on the Zarya. I mean, I do think she's just got a buff. I don't know if they're live yet. I mean, I don't really know off the top of my head.
I believe it is.
But yeah, and she did just get a buff. She's able to. Her bubbles for her team are going to be a lot better. Bigger size, so shorter cooldown, I believe. And they are going to run the Orisa, but
also it added 25 on each bubble. So 225 instead of 220. They're bigger. There's quicker cooldown. Yeah,
they're going to run the Zarya Reaper, so they're going to try and probably play really fast with this Reaper, maybe get some aggressive teleports in. But KABA KACHOW, they're going to be on the Junker Queen. They're going to try and sustain. If they can stay alive in these longer fights, they might have a decent chance. You just have to watch out for Rex on the radio on this Zarya.
Oh my goodness, what versatility out of Airfry. We didn't see anything like this from this yesterday. And if you're KABA KACHOW, there's no way you could have prepped for this. Look at that, Rex on a radio already with 100 charge, a giant microwave beam, just surgically removing each and every member of KABA KACHOW.
Yeah, and honestly, Zarya is just a very good matchup into Junker Queen, because if one of your teammates does get pulled in, then you can just bubble them and keep them alive. And now we're going to see KABA KACHOW. They're going to swap to the Kiriko, Lucio, Mir along with the Zarya. Now, the only thing different is going to be the DPS line. So KABA KACHOW, they want to play for a little bit more angles, maybe get your Sojourn set up on a high ground, let your Tracer flank, get some value that way. But Airfry is going to try and play faster, and I think that style is going to help them out a lot more here, just because there's not a lot of ways that they can stop you, really.
I mean, Airfry recognized this, and they've already backed up into cage, disengaging because of the swaps and the change of pace. Rex on the radio, push it up, and with teamwork, they're able to eliminate Elemental. Gets their back into a corner. Nice shot. Focusing down Khan at the end, and Rex, I mean, another all-star performance. We're not even done with map 1, and Rex has already taken over the server.
Yeah, it's just so hard to push into the Zarya, because Rex on a radio is consistently going to have high charge going into these fights. And if you compare that, by setting up your Reaper on flanks, and you can play aggressive like that, it's going to be so easy almost for them. And now we're going to be looking at these ults. I mean, Airfry, they're going to have the Graviton Surge already, along with the support ults, as Mini finds the pick on Shadow 3K pre-fight. It's going to hold KABA KACHOW most likely. And they really only have one ult to push in to try to recap this point. But Airfry, I mean, this next fight set up so good for them. You just have to look. You've got both the support ults. You have the Graviton Surge and another pick on Shadow 3K free fight. It's going to keep KABA KACHOW playing, a little bit safe now. But I mean, we'll see how this next fight goes. I'm expecting a huge Graviton Surge. Maybe the Kitsune Rush as well.
I mean, Airfry guaranteed this is going to be final fight. Almost guaranteed it with the first kill. The second kill on a Shadow 3K, yeah, there's only one shot left for KABA KACHOW. They're running right into a grab, catches them down low. Mini circles it up top and grabs 2 of the final blows. Oh man, what a play out of Airfry. Nothing KABA KACHOW could do as they get just dismantled here on the back half of Well. It will be a late overclock from Zombie, and overtime was initiated as Elemental had to make a swap to that ball. Zombie throws down, or sound barrier, excuse me, that was Jonah investing that sound barrier and running off Waters, who is in the back, close to a sound barrier of their own, might be able to stall long enough. If Shadow could perhaps get something done here, waits till the bubble's gone, lands the pulse, takes Kin out of this fight, and now suddenly Elemental is back here, and KABA KACHOW have just pulled this thing out from the depths.
Yeah, and what happens in that fight is Mini gets a little bit of aggressive, is trying to peek that spawn. They just get picked off, and it allows KABA KACHOW to kind of take that point. Especially without that Kiriko ultimate or Kiriko general, it helped them out a lot. Elemental's going to swap back to the Zarya. Airfry, I don't think they're going to run this D.Va. It's going to be a little bit tough, especially going into his Zarya and playing against Sojourn. But we'll see how they do it. They're going to try it for a fight. They're probably just going to try and DM this, this Death Blossom that's going to come out on the side of the Reaper. He comes out early.
Early sound barrier. They get sound barrier out from Waters early. Oh, but Angst didn't wait for the shields to fade. Decides to pop it and finds themselves in the bottom of the well for it. Rex is able to get a little bit of revenge, but the back and forth continues. Both teams missing a support and a DPS. KABA KACHOW looks right at the outside, still in control of this objective. Has Airfry kind of caught in cage, but Rex on a radio is still getting some healing here from Jonah and is sticking around long enough for reinforcements to show up. They are here and has returned. Kick has to use Ice Block and the wall early, but it's managed to catch Elemental into a bit of a corner. He's got the Graviton Surge now ready to go, throws it on the pillar, manages to get around the DM. Jonah is gone, and now it's looking like the emphasis is going to be thrown onto Rex on a radio. So close to a self-destruct. If they can get that up, they'll at least buy themselves another mech. But this thing has gotten a bit messy here, Tom.
Oh, yeah. really going on that longer fight, you had a 3v3. It was the tank, one of the supports, and one of the DPS on both sides. But Zarya's going in those scenarios because longer fights just favor Zarya. She can get her bubbles back. She can do a lot of damage, and it's just so hard for her to push in. But they're going to have the Cure Wall. It's going to help them out a lot here, and it might be able to set them up for a fight win if they are able to engage early.
No chance for Rex and Array to make any kind of swap off of this D.Va. Did get that self-destruct up, so they're going to go and have to pop that now. Back into the mech they go as the continuing rush invested from Airfryer. Kid immediately taken down. The Blizzard didn't make it onto the table, but I don't think it caught anything in it. KABA KACHOW just disengages beautifully from that. Rex Radio has to go in deep to try to find something in this 99-99 fight. Zombie sliding to the outside. Has Mini there. Down low. Gets the finishing blow with the rail. And KABA KACHOW, they claw their way back from a 0-99 to even things up here on Ilios. Bastion has returned. A last-ditch effort for Airfry, but it's the only red jersey on the screen, and we get the yellow ring of victory for KABA KACHOW.
You know, very scrappy map, but you know, in a lot of these longer fights, KABA KACHOW's comp just was helping them out a lot more than Airfry's. When Airfry's to that D.Va, not going to be playing for these longer fights. You want to try and play a little bit faster, get more value from the fact that you have a defense matrix, and you want the other team to get less from having a Zarya, and Zarya's going to get so much value in these longer fights. And yeah, we do see a pause come in.
I've read mixed things on that. Like,
yeah.
Zarya actually has a ramp up. She's really good from like 15 to 40 seconds into a fight, but past that, she actually starts to lose value once again. But that's a whole other theory crafting episode. We can save that for another time. I thought it was interesting that you know, we were talking that Rex on our radio might have been able to swap because the D.Va is a pretty rough matchup playing into that Zarya. And I mean, a newly buffed Zarya at that, where Elemento is staying fully charged seemingly all the time. But because of that, like, drawn out 3v3 kind of engagement we saw, Rex on our radio never got a chance, never disengaged. They were never in a position to make any kind of changes and just kind of had to stick it out for, I mean, it was like 60% on the board where Rex on our radio was on the outskirts of that fight because of that 3v3 and the way things stalled out. And I mean, good job from KABA KACHOW just kind of taking advantage of that mismatch.
Yeah, and you know, one of the key things is they make that swap to the Zarya early on, and really helps them out throughout the rest of the map. Yeah. And we'll see if they're going to try and do it again. I think this point's going to be a lot harder just because of the high ground. I mean, doesn't necessarily favor really either style we've seen from both of these teams. So I'm going to be very interested to see. Probably we'll see that Orisa, Sojourn, BAP, though. I think it's still going to be pretty solid here if you're able to get the point. But I mean, I don't know, because the high ground's very, very strong. If you can get one of your DPS set up there, get a good angle, it's going to be very, very good for you in these longer fights. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what these teams are going to try and do. But I'll get back into the map. Right now we're going to be on a little bit of a break. So I mean, really, how about these teams right now?
I mean, so far it's pretty even. I mean, Airfry had a 99-0. It looked done and dusted. I mean, it was desperation double support ults coming out from KABA KACHOW that even kept that thing alive back at the 0.99 mark. I mean, you know, big props to Waters for keeping it going. Another thing that I noticed was Jonah and Mini were swapped from what I expected. I expected to see Mini playing the main support role, which is what we saw yesterday, just based on what we saw in Esperanza yesterday. And that's been swapped. And so I wonder if all of these changes might just be Airfry kind of overthinking things a little bit. Like we saw them very dominant and very clean on the Orisa comps yesterday. We saw them, you know, we saw Mini like. I mean, let me rephrase that. We saw Jonah really excelling in the flex support role. I think that's where the focus should be on that. So now we're getting Jonah back on the Ana as we head into this round 3, and things are starting to feel a little bit more at home for me as far as this Airfry squad is concerned. Still on the D.Va, though. Airfry working around the outside here. Cage, just been a battle for Cage thus far. Nobody really making their way even towards the middle pillar, much less the objective. This big Ink working around here, all the Tracer, putting focus onto Elemento, and KABA KACHOW decide to make their way to point. Airfry are going to chase them on and find a kill along the way. Rotation is not clean. It's a nice bio nade to get one. Can land some stickies, does get bubbled away, but clear advantage to Airfry, and despite an early first grab from KABA KACHOW, Airfry immediately flip it.
Yeah, and again, Airfry is able to get set up on the high ground. Their Ana was able to get a huge nade, especially later on that. It's gonna be so hard for just the Ana set up on this high ground, along with the Echo. They don't really have a hit scan, and Shadow 3K does get picked off pre-fight, but it's gonna just force KABA KACHOW to play now, wait for their trade to get back, wait for their tracer to get set up. But yeah, I mean, really be able to contest Jonah right now, unless Waters hits some crazy rollout on Jake. But also the Echo is just going to be able to dominate from the guys. It's going to be very tough for KABA KACHOW, and I'm really interested to see how they want to, kind of take this next fight.
Yep, Ken immediately just retreats to the top of the lighthouse. They're able to avoid anything that Shadow 3K wants to do. So KABA KACHOW decided to put all their attention onto the objective itself. Run out anybody from Airfry who is there. Ken tried to poke, and wow, all 10 eyes were immediately on Ken, and they were back at spawn. Rex on the radio is going to have a similar fail. Oh, the sleep! The sleep! Put Element on the worst spot possible. Jonah with the perfectly timed dart made a nightmare for Elemento.
Yeah, and I mean, KABA KACHOW, they're able to get to the point, but they have to use so many abilities, and it's just hard to stay in the fight. Airfry is able to use to use the nano and the struct to get that fight win, but KABA KACHOW going into this next fight, they're going to have 4 ultimates potentially coming up. I don't know if Waters is going to be able to get the beat, but I mean, we're going to probably see a Kitsune Rush off the high ground, maybe able to take point, maybe the Sojourn on the point, and they are going to actually just teleport straight there.
Oh, but what a bio-nade. It's Jonah again, who is just causing so much trouble here for KABA KACHOW. Grab does hold one, cleverly placed, actually. And Shadow's able to get one as well. Kid's still lurking around, less than half health, just escapes up to the high ground, retreats to where Jonah's able to get some healing down. Kid's back at full health, has a duplicate to work with, but doesn't have a whole lot of reinforcements and just stuck in a bad spot.
Yeah, he gets picked off. KABA KACHOW, they use the Graviton Surge, they use the Kitsune Rush, but what really helped them was that they were able to teleport to the point and they didn't have to take that much poke on their rotation. That kind of helped them, sustain the rest of the fight. Now, a huge teleport on the high ground forces out the rally on the side of Mini. But
I mean, it was a good rally. It saves them, and they're able to trade out the Tracer for the Kiriko. You take that trade every day of the week, twice on Sunday if you're Airfry. Overclock here from Zombie to try to bring things back in a 4v4, but it's Mini with that rally, able to take the fight right back to Elemento. Finally brought to their knees by Zombie, but not before Airfry has been able to move in and evict everybody else off of this objective.
a teleport really doesn't work on the side of KABA KACHOW, force out the rally, but they also get picked off during that entire fight and how that was going. I don't know if KABA KACHOW is going to be able to touch.
No, Waters got taken down by the stickies. Did not trigger the OT, as Airfry are able to guard this point and not give any more opportunities to KABA KACHOW. They'll take our opening map. It's 1-0 here in our semifinals. Going to Airfry Marinara Trench. Oh man, what a good opening to this series, Telm. I mean, we're in for a banger.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be a very, very good series on our hands. And yeah, a huge play by Rex on a radio. But what really goes down in that last map is the composition that we got to see on the side of Airfry and how they were able to take that angle. Oh, shoot, my headset just died.
Uh-oh, that's all right. We'll give Telm a moment to get their headset back in order.
Okay, I think. All
right, good. It happens. I mean, Jonah go back over into that flex support role. I mean, pulls out the Ana, and immediately you see the impact. I mean, the Freddy Krueger play. I mean, just creating nightmares for Elemento. That was, I mean, the incredible sleep, but the bio-nades as well. I think was a big turning point for me. It was interesting seeing these compositions like you're talking about, and it's a joy to not just see what we expected coming in, be it because of the patch changes coming through today, or if it's just Airfry, throwing some curveballs at us. Either way, it was a fun first map to watch, and I'm glad we're seeing some changes, seeing some versatility.
Yeah, it's very good to see because we have been seeing this Orisa meta for a little bit ever since Solari came out. So very nice to see, a very interesting comp come out. So I mean, one of my, the biggest thing about that map again was comp choices. It helped, and it also hurt them sometimes, right? When they swapped off of that Zarya to D.Va, it hurt them a little bit. So we'll see if they're going to be able to find kind of a more comfortable picks, really. If they can keep running the Zarya, I think they're going to be set up pretty well. If they can keep running the Orisa, I think they'll also be set up pretty well on the side of Airfry. But KABA KACHOW, they showed a lot of very good things in that map, and I mean, I'm very excited to see how the rest of this goes, because we could be, into it for a 5-map series. Really, that's how that first map really went for me.
I mean, it was almost a very dominant showing from Airfry, but we get KABA KACHOW pulling it back from the 0-99 there in round 2 to force that round 3. And I mean, they're kind of on the back foot again. KABA KACHOW seems to perform at their best when their kind of backs are against the wall. So we'll see how they do here. We are headed into hybrid. It was the one map that Airfry lost yesterday, was the hybrid map, but that map is not the same map as we're going to see today as we pull it up, and well, we're headed to King's Row today. The old tried and true.
Yeah, and I do actually look very, very good for Airfry right here, because this map choice that allows them to play that brawl style that they really, really like. If they want to play that Orisa, I mean, on Radio was doing good on the Orisa and the Zarya, which I think are both, you know, decently viable options on this map. I do think I expect to see the Orisa a little bit more, probably running that Sojourn in the back well. But, and when we were also looking at the, you know, the last time that they played the hybrid map, it was on Eichenwald, and they lost the Eichenwald, but it was also because of the second point. They struggled a lot trying to take that high ground, you know, when they were trying to attack. So that kind of, you know, stunted their push a lot. So, you know, I do think on here it's going to be a lot better for them, because their brawl matchup, it's going to favor them, you know, throughout this map.
Looks like we are going to get a bit of a substitution coming in, as we will have Khan subbing in for this map for Mini, I believe. So, Mini is coming in on the DPS role. So now this is more of what we expected. Mini is listed as a DPS.
Yeah, I think you might see Mini play a little bit of the Mei, potentially. I mean, they do make a really big swap, though. So, I mean, we'll see how this goes. We are going to see Ja on the Lucio. Rex on a Radio is going to potentially start on the Zarya, but KABA KACHOW, they're going to start on the Zarya BAP comp. You know, I think this is actually going to be pretty good for them, too. They like that Zarya so far. I mean, we've seen it in the first map. And this is going to be a very interesting matchup. We're going to get to see a Zarya mirror Mini. It's going to be on the Lucio, and Jonah most likely will be on the BAP, and we probably will see the Sojourn as well come on the side of Airfry. So, I mean, it might be just a, you know, a pure mirror, honestly. But actually, are we going to see the Genji?
I mean,
it's just to get to the high ground.
Early looks, I love the adaptation, because this first looks at this patch, and already our teams are very much gravitating towards that Zarya. It took one map for both of our, and completely gone over to a whole new strategy. And it's the Zarya rush. It was a tough. It didn't catch it in, and well, neither did KABA KACHOW's or Airfry's for that matter. So it's back to a stalemate, and both of our Zaryas already with a lot of charge. Once again, KABA KACHOW not really able to catch anybody on the way out. Khan goes down, but it's still KABA KACHOW who are pushing the point. They're pushing this fight all the way to Rex on our Radio, who was super low, had to back out. Still, I think the advantage is in Airfry's favor. It's gonna be a wall to try to stall long enough for Khan to get back in this fight.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get their respawns. We want to see KABA KACHOW take these longer fights. They want to get a lot of value out of the Sojourn railguns, but I mean, and they were able to in that last fight. They got to pick on Jonah, but Airfry is also just able to take the space again, closer respawns. Now the fight's going to happen again. And Rex on a Radio is split, but it does not matter.
No, it's a beautiful immortality field from Jonah that keeps them up. And when it looked like Rex on a Radio was absolutely done for, they're able to pull through. Jonah takes down Elemento, and that should be the nail in the coffin here. It's a 2v2, one cleaned up by Rex on a Radio and company.
Yeah, Rex on a Radio able to survive that. Yeah, really good immortality field, really good heals coming out on the side of Jonah onto Rex on a Radio. Yeah. And now we see two Zarya ults are going to be coming up. We're going to see the Graviton Surge from both sides, potentially. And we are going to see the window from Jonah. It's going to be, you know, very interesting to see how they take this fight. I'm expecting they're going to try and, you know, play a little bit of aggressive with the, you know, the window on the side of Jonah. But we are going to see Airfry. They're going to swap to the Hanzo. They're going to try and play for these, you know, these one-shot angles that they can get with the Hanzo. We'll see how they. We are going to see a Graviton Surge come out early. It's going to force out the immortality field and the wall.
Yeah, it got both bubbles out of Rex on a Radio as well, and who's now sitting at 100 health. Elemental's going to go ahead and chase them down. It's going to manage to escape, yeah, but it takes an amplification matrix from Khan to make it happen, not only for the double heals, but to keep Enk at bay. So it's two ults invested here for KABA KACHOW, but they bought some wonderful real estate for it.
Yeah, and going into this next fight, you have two DPS ults that are just very, very good at holding space, right? The Sojourn ult's going to be very good at just, you know, mowing down the side of Airfry, but the Blizzard's going to be able to set up everybody else too. But Airfry, they're going to have the Blizzard of their own, they're going to have their window, so we'll see how they want to take this fight. The Blizzard's going to come out early though, and it's hopefully going to find someone.
Yep, here comes the counter Blizzard after Jot's sound barrier, but what a disengage. Waters is able to speed everybody out. Ice block from TDA. Now Waters is going to throw in a sound barrier of their own and takes Jot out of the fight. Amplification Matrix here from Airfry, but so far nobody's really able to find any targets. KABA KACHOW are just going to back out and sit on their 5v4 that they've managed to gain. Respawns are coming in here for Airfry as both teams kind of going back into a neutral battle for this arch.
Yeah, we might see this this dragon come out from Ink soon, might be able to split off the team from KABA KACHOW, but we have to watch the Sojol. It could be very, very huge if they're able to find the correct picks. We have to watch the Hanzo angle on the top left. And the dragon is going to go in. It's probably going to see a very aggressive engage going on now from the side of Airfry.
Yeah, oh, and Elemental can't get out of there because the dragons were blocking off the cover. Rex on the radio is able to just find a very vulnerable and open Elemento, and one by one, it is clean up from there. Beautifully done using just the dragons. I mean, it's not for the kills, it was to force everybody out of their precious cover.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to go back to the fight we saw both of the males come out. A beautiful disengage on the side of Airfry. Kind of only made sure they only lost one in that fight, and they were able to get back. It was the Lucio. It's going to be very fast to get back into the fight. Now we're going to see the Graviton Surges. So again, it's going to be a Graviton Surge mirror, but Ank is able to find the pick on a zombie, and that's going to help him out in this fight so much.
Oh, tremendously. But now there's no Graviton Surge from either team, so it's Airfry still has a little bit of an advantage here, but we'll see how our teams can do in this interesting situation as the Ant Matrix fades for the defense. Ice block used early from TDA. It's a couple of supports. They're going to get walled off. They can't heal TDA. What a play from many. Big brain to deny any of the support. And what it was an unusual team fight. Airfry used some clever tactics here to push this thing in and make sure they can cap point B.
Yeah, for sure. And Rex on the radio does get picked off in that fight, but you know, very good coordination on the side of Airfry. They're able to just kind of survive the rest of the window. And now you're going into this next fight, you're going to have almost 5 ults come on the side of Airfry. We're going to probably see this Graviton Surge come out. Maybe they want to combo it with the Dragon on the side of Ink, but oh no, we're going to see it come out early. It's going to force out both bubbles probably.
They force out the Graviton from the other side. It's a defensive wall to try to block Zombies' overclock, but still manages to get Rex. But Jonah! Jonah picks up 2 from the high ground with his Ant Matrix. What an awesome position! Jonah gets 3! Oh my! I mean, there's no tank here, right? Like, there's no Rex. It's just Jonah up there killing everyone.
Yeah, and you know, through all that chaos between both the Graviton Surges, Jonah's able to get that high ground, use the window, and able to find 3 huge picks. And the Dragon's going to come out. It's going to just... Oh, it's going to find 2 picks! And that's going to maybe end this fight before it gets started.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Defensive Blizzard holds it, but it's a double boom! Elemental and TDA are gone! Waiting for the ice block to fade. Jot finds the perfect opportunity to send 2 below. What a way to celebrate a full cap on King's Row. And it's 2:38. Healthy time bank here for Airfry Marinere Trench.
Yeah, and that looked very, very good for them. That was a very good map overall. I mean, yeah, they struggled a little bit after the cap first point, but I mean, we saw that they were able to kind of push through the rest of the map with relative ease. And again, Rex on a radio on the Zarya is just so strong, but we saw a lot of good plays for everybody, right? Jonah, obviously we saw that flank window is able to get a lot a lot of value. And yeah, we are a little bit gassed right now, but we have one more map to, or we have a lot more maps to do, hopefully. But you know,
I'm just getting warmed up, Rex. Come on.
Yeah, you know what?
Come on.
Yeah. Come on. We got much more Overwatch ahead of us, hopefully. But we're gonna see Airfry. They're gonna run this Mei Hanzo again, and I mean, Ank on this Hanzo is gonna be one of the key players in this comp, because if they cannot get the value that is needed, and if they're not able to find the picks, then you might just want to swap out the character. And we know Ank can play the Sojourn. I'm be very intrigued to see if that's what they want to go to, but I do think this comp is working very well for them. I mean, you can let Rex on a radio just do a lot of work in these longer fights, but KABA KACHOW, they're going to go with the Echo Mercy, and I do think that it's kind of an adjustment, because you're seeing that Airfry, they're not really running any hit scan other than Jonah, but well, they're going to swap. We'll see what they're going to do. Maybe it's just a scout, or using the Sombra just a scout. They're actually going to be, yeah, they're going to be damage boosting the Sojourn. I mean, this is going to be very interesting to see. I mean, if Zombie's able to find the picks, this Mercy pocket can help them out a lot.
Yeah, we'll see if this comes in. I mean, what an unusual look. TDA, who had subbed in for Shadow 3K here in this map, pulling out the Sombra, something we haven't really seen since the previous patch. Not today's patch, but the one a couple weeks ago, since that nerf to Sombra's ultimate. Haven't seen a whole lot of that hero, and TDA so far looks like it has just been for information. Still sitting at sub 10% health, but a lot of space picked up here from KABA KACHOW. Zombie is able to work along this high ground, much desired position. Immortality Field's forced out early. And AFMT are struggling to really get anything done thus far.
Yeah, Ankit got picked off by the Sombra. I mean, the damage from the side of Zombie, it got cleaned up by TDA, but yeah, they're just going to be able to melt through the rest of the team now, and we'll see if Airfry, if they want to try and make any swaps here. I mean, what happens in that fight is that Zombie's able to get so much. Oh man, and Elemento is just going crazy in his spawn. Able to get 2 picks right there, and I do think they're going to, calm down a little bit now, hopefully, but well, what happens in that fight is that Zombie's able to get so much damage on the side of onto Ank, and then TDA was just kind of on the right spot at the right time, able to get that pick off. And yeah, we're looking at their ult. They don't really have a lot of ult, but I mean, they were able to get that huge pick. Zombie's going to have the Sojal, is going to be pocketed along with the Graviton Surge on the side of Elemento. It's going to be very interesting to see. Airfry, they swapped to the D.Va though. It's going to be, I mean, maybe it's just going to be to just try to counter this Graviton Surge, but it does feel like it's going to be a little bit tough to run this D.Va.
Oh, and especially with the manual hack coming out of TDA, you can guarantee that you don't have the defense matrix there to eat the Graviton Surge with that 1-2 punch. Alright, MH out from Airfry. Try to slow down KABA KACHOW here a little bit. See if Airfry can get set up. Get Mini up to this Blizzard and try to hold KABA KACHOW in this choke. Turn to the corner, back up to 100 charge. Elemento throws in the Graviton Surge on the bookstore wall with the hit matrix to back it up, and he immediately just eats an ult fire right to the dome. That ice block not gonna last long. Cryo freeze fades. Mini is gone. Zombie is res, and KABA KACHOW are in control.
Yeah, and they were just able to, that huge Graviton Surge with the window kind of helped them out, able to get that pick and, able to push in after that. But again, Airfry can't really do much. They kind of just have to sit there and hopefully, somebody gets a pick. But really, who on the side of Airfry is going to be able to get a lot of value in this comp? I mean, Ank is probably your best bet, but I mean, who's he really going to dive? I mean, maybe the Baptiste, but I mean, I feel like the Baptiste is just going to be able to survive, and it's going to allow Elemento to just do whatever he wants on this front line. But KABA KACHOW, they have 2 ultimates in this next fight. We're going to be able to build the EMP too. I mean, it should be very interesting to see what they do here. This D.Va is just trying to kill Zombie, but it might not work out.
Oh, Ink manages to get that on the waters. Zombie's like, I got away from your pulse bomb, but unfortunately your tether was not so lucky. Your Mercy just got blown to bits. And comes Ank over the top, able to finish off Zombie without that healing tether. And the defensive Airfry put a stop to this.
Yeah, and huge pulse bomb kills the Mercy, and then Zombie gets a little split. They get picked off. Now you have a lot of ults. This is going to be a huge fight. It's going to be very important too, because if Airfry can win this next fight with like maybe 1 or 2 ults, then they can win the next fight too if they're able to use their ults correctly. But
yeah,
we'll see what they do here. Yeah, it could snowball, but KABA KACHOW, they also have ults of their own. The EMP is going to be huge if they can get a lot of value with this. I mean, they might be able to combo the EMP along with the railgun. But, I mean, we'll see if they're going to try and force out this Tracer right now. I don't know how it's going to go for them.
Ink's focused on the Zombie. And Zombie's able to find Jot with an overclock. As soon as it popped, it was the EMP comboed with it. So, and that was just a raw railgun. That was not actually the overclock. It was just the EMP used on that. So, nice diligence here from KABA KACHOW. The frugalness seems to be rewarded as they're able to hold on to 3 ultimates and still win this fight.
Yeah, and really all they needed was that EMP. They were able to get the picks. They used the Valkyrie as well. But, I mean, I want to see what Airfry is going to do here. I just think their comp is going to be so difficult to play. Now, we are going to see Mini swap to the Widow. They're going to try and contest this Sojourn a little bit. But, I mean, and you're going to be able to take that high ground. It's going to be hard for the Sombra to really get an angle if you take that high ground if you're Mini. But, I mean, we have to look at the rest of the comp for Airfry. It's going to be just so tough. You're playing D.Va into Zarya, and, I mean, you might be able to walk in with a rally, but it's going to be very interesting to see. Elemento does have low charge, though.
Yeah, quickly though, gets at least up to 70 plus. Pulse Bomb is going to miss on this one. Elemento able to get topped off high just for a minute, and now looking for a place to unleash this ultimate. Has 2 up in the corner, and has TDA up there to help out. Could decide to pop a dig, but Rex is right behind him with the defense matrix and aided. It never even came out of the gun. Elemento looks absolutely stunned, swings around to put a little damage down, just kind of out of anger. But Rex on a radio just gleefully runs away. Mini gets taken down, but Ink is still down low, causing a lot of problems. Still, this cart drifts closer and closer. You see Rex on a radio just swinging from the left side with a rally at their back. Elemento did not last long. Still, there's time to work with here for KABA KACHOW.
Yeah, but we know that KABA KACHOW, now they're going to have less time than Airfry. So, I mean, if you're on the side of Airfry, you're really just trying to play to overtime here. I mean, you have this, the Airfry's going to kind of force them to play a little bit slower. But again, Zombie still has this Sojournal, and they haven't really used it yet. So we'll see what they want to do this fight. I mean, I'd expect you want to engage with it. If you can force out the defense matrix though on the side of Airfry, it might help you, get a diva on both sides now. So I mean, you're gonna see a diva mirror. They're gonna try to take this high ground. Mini finds the pick onto the Baptiste early. It's gonna force out the resurrect, but I do think KABA KACHOW, they want to play a little bit slower still. I mean, still has the infra side. The Sombra's gonna get forced out.
I think this positioning from the Widowmaker is what's caused the Diva swap. The high ground is just too important, and Mini up here, listed as a projectile DPS, mind you, is doing things like that, putting waters into the dirt, 6 feet under, no res. Elemento just ends up resetting, I don't know, might have been a boot, but either way, Mini, holy cow, taking over.
Yeah, and there's very little. They have very little pressure to stop Mini on these angles, so I mean, we'll see how this next fight looks for KABA KACHOW. Obviously, Elemento wants to get set up on the dives, but you have no ultimates, so and Airfry they have the window, they have the Diva Bomb. It's gonna be very tough for them to walk in. I mean, you hopefully have to get a pick on somebody else, but I mean, they're gonna be able to hard peel for Mini. It's gonna be so tough to get set up on that high ground.
I mean, Elemento tried to go up there, but I mean, couldn't even stay. Didn't even put the mech's feet down for a moment. Both of our tanks are fighting over the point, and Elemento just get absolutely mowed through, and TDA gets their head popped off the moment they come out of stealth. Zombie had a rail to work with, but just couldn't find the target, and this defense has built an absolute wall of stalwart here on Kings Row. Airfry have whittled down this time bank to next to nothing.
Yeah, they really are playing Protect the President with Mini right now. Just let him survive until later on in the fight. Let him get his picks over time. Now, we are going to see KABA KACHOW. They're going to swap to the Ana and the Symmetra, and they're also running Lucio. So they might try and teleport to that high ground just to make sure they can force out Mini, but I don't know how it's going to work. Now, they are going to get the teleport set up, and it actually is going to work perfectly. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but EMP is going to find Jonah, and they're going to get the pick, and it's going to force Airfry into spawn.
Okay, but adaptation has been the name of the game here today. KABA KACHOW are certainly able to do it with 8 seconds remaining. They've at least got them some space to work with, but look at this counter punch! Oh my goodness, as Rex is able to mow through Zombie, the third in a sequence of kills, all back-to-back here in the OT. That snipe shot, oh, nope, it's Rex who's gonna find Elemento. Done and dusted. Kings Row going to Airfry Mariana Tridge as they win hybrid, pulling back from the curse of yesteryear. Match point here in your EU Console Open semifinals matchup.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of the negative thing about doing a teleport like that is you get so many of your abilities forced out that the longer on that fight goes, the better it's looking for Airfry. They're able to get the picks, the DPS were able to get picks, and that's what really set them up. We're gonna see Jonah on this off angle. I mean, very, very dangerous plays on the side of everybody on Airfry. So,
reminder: Rex was dead during that play of the game. Jonah just hops on the high ground as the Baptiste. He's like, "Yeah, don't worry, fam, I got you."
Oh yeah, and I mean, just very good plays overall. I mean, Rex on a radio has been looking very, very good on this tank, even though in that fight they were dead. But they've looked good. I mean, in general, both sides have looked pretty good. And that was still a really close map. We go kind of to almost to the end, basically to the end times. You have 2 minutes left, but I mean, very good defense on the side of Airfry. They were able to kind of hold that for the majority of the time. I think, I'm trying to think what KABA KACHOW had. I think they had over 3 minutes basically going into that last point. They got held that entire time. Good adaptations on the side of Airfry. They swapped to that Widow. I mean, at the time I was kind of concerned about it because Mini is labeled as a flex DPS, so it was very interesting to see. They were able to get a lot of picks though, and they played so well defending him too. And it looked very, very good though.
It did. It did. We've got a new patch. We've had new looks, new comps here in the first 2 maps. Will that continue? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's Flashpoint. We'll see if Airfry can close it out. We'll see you in a minute. Well, it's been a day of new here thus far, and that's going to continue as we head into not only a brand new map, but a brand new game mode entirely here. Seeing it for the first time in CGL here in the mid-season tournament. We're headed to Flashpoint.
Yeah, we're going to get to see New Junk City. It's a map choice for KABA KACHOW. I do think we are going to be seeing some swaps as well. We'll get into that as a little bit, but I mean, I do think this map, I really do think really all of Flashpoint, it kind of favors that Junker Queen. I think the Junker Queen Lucio Kiriko is kind of what most teams have been running on this map because, you want to have that high mobility, so you really need that Lucio. You need the mobility. I mean, I do think Sojourn Genji is also pretty good. It's also very dependent on what these teams feel because this is a new map type. It still hasn't really been figured out completely, so it's going to be very dependent on what these teams want. And, once we get into the map, we'll be able to kind of look at what tank options that they're going to really try and play for. But again, yeah, I do think it's pretty brawl heavy. You could get away with a lot of brawl. Lucio Kiriko is kind of my main comp just because you want that Kiriko teleport out of spawn. You want the Lucio speed. Junker Queen's good just because the sustain as well. But I mean, we'll see what either of these teams are going to try and roll out on. We might see that Zarya. I do think the open queue. So
yeah, I saw Elemento picking Genji a second ago, and I was like, something looks a little off here. But yeah, I mean, that speed is so important because your rotations are so important in this game type. Like, I think that is how you get between the objectives and. Like, do you take fights there? Do you get to the point first? Like, I think these kind of decisions are far more important than they are in any other map. Like, the movement between seems to almost take precedent over how you actually set up on the objective itself.
Yeah, because consistently you have to move like 100 meters to get to the next objective. So if you don't have that Lucio, it's going to take you a long time to get there. And you might not even get there until the point unlocks. And you want to be able to take the fight before that happens. And especially with how fast these points kind of get capped, I mean, you want to have those fast rotations because you want to get set up first. If you can win the first fight, you're going to be set up better. And I mean, we'll see what these teams are going to run out on. I do think we probably will see a Lucio Curie variation of sorts. Now, whether or not they're going to choose Zarya or the Junker Queen. So yeah, KABA KACHOW. I do think that the Junker Queen is probably a very comp for them. And yeah, their comp looks very good though. I mean, you're going to have the Baptiste for kind of the AoE healing. The Tracer's going to be able to get set up on an off angles. Zombie on the Sojourn is going to be a key thing to watch out because the value that the Sojourn can get in these longer fights is going to be very key. On the side of Airfry, we're going to see the Genji, the Zarya, Torbjorn, Kiriko. I do think Jonah might play the Lucio, but we are going to see Mini playing flex support again, and we know Mini's Kiriko was pretty good. We saw a little bit of it on the first map, but this Torbjorn is going to be kind of used to zone out, Shadow 3K on the flank, and it's going to be setting up Ank 2 on the Sojourn, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this first fight is going to go. The Zarya is going to be a very good matchup into the Junker Queen as well.
Yeah, the musical chairs continues here for Airfry with Kin coming back in, Shadow returning as well. Rex on a radio finding an early pick as these teams wasted no time clashing before the point even unlocks. Rex already has 4 kills in this server. You're gonna give him the no ace. Mini stole your ace. Thank you for that, Mini.
Yeah, Mini just has to hit a crazy headshot, but I mean, Rex on a radio just plays so fast, is able to get the pick on the Baptiste, allows to kind of sets them up for the rest of that fight. But I mean, this Zarya on the Rex on a radio is going to be so good. I mean, he's just showing consistently that he is one of the best players in this lobby. Now, he might be able to build the Zarya ult first too, but we'll see how this next fight goes. The Kiriko is going to be very interesting to see because of the headshot value that you're going to get. Forces out the immortality early as well.
KABA KACHOW, like, how do you push through this tiny little opening? I mean, they're trying to brute force their way in, but you can see how difficult it is. They are struggling and now just backpedaling. I don't think there's any reprieve, no escape.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just so hard to push through that little choke, and because this is as you're walking in, you have to worry about Rex on a radio, the alternate fires, Mini hitting the headshots, Ank with just the general damage. I mean, it's just so dangerous to push in, especially going into the Torbjorn too. And we are going to see Rex on a radio getting set up very aggressively, probably going to look for that kind of flank grab.
Yeah.
And probably going to be able to wipe KABA KACHOW really early, and it is going to happen. And I do think we will see a team wipe here. Oh.
No, yeah, I mean, Bubble and Immortality, Phil and KABA KACHOW are able to fend it off. Ken is actually the one that goes down. Ank has to run with 60 health and ends up getting picked off. The Elemental's right on your heels. Did not give up on that one at all. Rex continues to at least show that they've got a little something left in the tank because they just take something down with them, but In the end, here we go. All 4 players from KABA KACHOW standing. Points flipped.
Yeah, I was right. Well, I did predict a team wipe, just on the wrong side. And you know, we're gonna see Airfry. They're gonna have this. They're gonna have both support ults. They're gonna have the Sojourn ult. We're gonna be able to build the Torb. You're gonna be basically pretty even on ults, but Elemental with the Graviton Surge is gonna be very key. It might be able to get a lot of value unless Joan is gonna be able to hit a clutch, beat drop here. They're gonna play very fast with it, and it's going to happen. It's gonna force out both bubbles and the beat.
Oh, and it's still not going to be enough with Zombie in the AM Matrix. Now, there have been some trades, especially with Kid that's able to sneak in behind them, and Aik gets the overclock down, so somehow Airfry are able to muscle their way through this, and it should be grabbing Arena on the back of it. Very fast tick-up time on this. Overtime doesn't last long. It's a sound barrier from Waters. Waters, there's still lots of map to play. This was not it.
Yeah, it's just so... That's just a tough decision right there. I mean, he wants to stall it a little bit, but really your team is going to be very slow anyway. So, I mean, it's definitely a huge question mark decision, but now you look on the side of Airfry, they're going to have, you know, the Kiriko Wall and the Torball for this next point. And if they can get set up early, this Torball can be really huge because KABA KACHOW is going to have to walk into it, but Zombie with the Sojo could be really big. The Kiriko Wall goes out early, and they're going to be looking for a hammer kill.
Yeah, that's a bit ambitious. We got the bomb flat. Corner. This did favor KACHOW Spawn. Able to get here as Airfry and even find that early pick. So despite Airfry coming off of the objective, it's still hotly contested here right in front of the objective as they play around that center pillar. Mini is very low, trying to keep Aik topped up, but unfortunately there's just no such doing. Elemento with about 25 health manages to stay alive long enough to find that kill.
Yeah, just in a very ambitious play that we see from Ken, tries to get the hammer kill with the Kiriko ult, but yeah, did not find the value they would have wanted. And also, we are seeing almost an exact mirror other than the support line. We are seeing Mini opt for the Kiriko more, going to get more value from those headshots. You know, they're able to get a lot of value, but going into this next fight, Ken still has the Torball. They're going to hopefully be able to build a Graviton Surge as well. It's looking pretty good for them if they can get a longer fight on their favor. We just have to watch out. Zombie still has his overclock. Could be huge as well, but we'll see how they want to take this next fight. I do think we might see a Torball kind of to initiate, and yes, we will.
AFMT, I love the way they've been bouncing around this point. Got a little bit of lava here in front of Elemento, but still plenty of room to back up, a lot of room to work with here on this objective. You can see they backed up into the failsafe of that Torb, but there's a Graviton Surge right on top of him, and here comes Death in Spades from Airfry.
Yeah, and Ken's still looking for that hammer kill too, but I mean, that was a really good fight for them. Ken is able to kind of force the entirety of KABA KACHOW to group up in one area, and then Rex on Radius was able to, you know, clean it up with the Graviton Surge. I mean, very good ultimate usage on the side of Airfry, and they still have small tier. I mean, Ank on this with this Sojo, you know, it might be an overclock mirror. They might try. I do think KABA KACHOW might try and combo it, but I mean, Mini gets picked off early. It might just end this fight right here. Yeah, and they're just going to keep walking in. They're going to keep finding the picks.
Hank is trying to bring this back, and it's going to be a sound barrier from Airfry as well as their overclock. So they're looking to invest into it. Element throws in the grab. Doesn't hit anything. Completely whiffs on the grab. Zombie does finally start to return fire here with their own overclock. Caught Aik mid-slide. Lands the shot on the Ken. I think that was 3 in a row from Zombie that hit Ken after catching Aik mid-slide. Beautiful, beautiful display of accuracy from Zombie.
Yeah, just a crazy shot you have to hit there. But, I mean, both sides really use a lot of ults, and, I mean, we saw Airfry, they used the Sojourn ult and the beat at the same time to try and get some value. We're not able to get the picks. Don't think they're going to be able to contest here, and, yeah, Joan is going to get picked off. I mean, you just want to see Airfry just try and get set up for this next point, but it looks like they're going to get chased down, and especially if Ank is going to slide in, it's going to be a little bit hard to get out then, but...
The rest are trying to disengage. Oh, Ken stuck around and didn't disengage with Jonah and the rest of the team. You can see that's Mini and Jonah there. Oh, and Mini's gonna get picked. So
many staggers.
Yeah, this is looking really good for KABA KACHOW. I mean, they've got a massive player advantage here, Tom.
They're just gonna keep getting these stagger picks. I mean, they're gonna be able to get set up on this next point so easily, and you have a lot of ults to hold this space. I mean, it's looking so good for KABA KACHOW now. As Airfry, they're only going to have, well, they're going to have the Kiriko ult, they're going to have the Torball, but we'll see how they want to use them. If they can, I mean, their only chance really is to try and take a lot of tempo with this Kiriko ult, and hopefully use it before KABA KACHOW can use their other ults. I mean, they might be able to use the beat to stop it, but Rex on a radio is going to be close to the Graviton Surge again. We'll see how this next fight's going to go.
I think this is the hardest point in the whole map to take, though, because of this high ground here. And we got the Sound Barrier used as well as the Matrix double support ults out from KABA KACHOW. They're able to get one with it, and they do manage to avoid the incoming lava from the Molten Core of Kin. Now KABA KACHOW are looking to strike back. They don't want to push too far past this choke. No, they're going to send the choke. Zombie still gets picked. Sticks their head a little too far. It's a Graviton Surge in from Rex to try to swing this thing back the other direction. KABA KACHOW already over 50%, but here comes Airfry storming in. Both of our Zaryas very high charged. And it's going to be the Graviton Surge in response. Sound Barrier out from Jonah. Keeping everybody alive here from Airfry as they start to move on to the point. Elemental and KABA KACHOW have had to drop down low. Ank has an overclock ready to go. Rex has already dropped and managed to pick up one kill, but is sub half health. Face off against Elemental, who is a just all railgun, who puts the final nail in Elemento's coffin.
Yeah, and what really goes on in that fight is you saw a lot of good ult usages on the side of Airfry. They're able to use their ults to kind of force KABA KACHOW to play a little bit slower, even if they had the picks on their favor or they had some kind of advantage, right? When we saw the B and the window come out on the side of KABA KACHOW, the Torball from Ken kind of slowed them down and made sure they couldn't get as much value from it. And now going into this next fight, Airfry, they have this Soul ult. I mean, Anka could get a lot of value, might be able to clean the fight by themselves here, but Khan with this window is going to be huge. It's going to take a lot of space.
A great Suzu out of many there, at least buys enough time for Airfry to get out of there with no casualties yet. Overclock from Zombie looking to change that. Put a shot down on the camera. They're able to back up into cover. Still waiting for heals down low, and Zombie still has a full charge rail right in the tank. In the chamber, ready to go. Decides to pop it, doesn't hit it. Elemental going down low to try to force these little roaches from AFMT out of their hidey hole. But it's a Kitsune rush. They come out with the power of the fox. They speed you down and take you out.
Yeah, beautiful combo there. The Kitsune Rush and the Overclock on the side of Airfry is able to clean up, and I don't think KABA KACHOW is going to get... They're not going to be able to touch. They're going to try and play for this next point. But Rex on a radio, you have the Graviton Surge. I mean, you might be able to get this next fight win early, too. But I do think KABA KACHOW, they're going to get the point first, just where their spawns were. So, I mean, we'll see how Airfry wants to take this next fight. They have the Graviton Surge before KABA KACHOW does have any ults. And Airfry, they're also going to have the beat. They're going to have the Torball. So, it's looking pretty good for them if they can get set up in this fight. But KABA KACHOW does have the point already.
Oh, we got Junkyard. That's two favorable points here for Airfry back to back, and they only need one more. As they try to chase down, pursue the kills after this Graviton Surge. A late Sound Barrier comes in, but Shadow swapping, now able to find some kills, and this is just messy. Everybody's melting in the lava. Everybody's going back to spawn. And no, I was mistaken, Warren. Refinery, so this actually is good news for KABA KACHOW.
Yeah, and a huge Torbjorn play from the side of Ken, able to find 4 picks, you know, using the turret off angle that they had and their ultimate, they were able to find those picks. Now, KABA KACHOW, they have 2 ults going into this next fight, the window as well as the Graviton Surge. It's looking pretty good for them, but, I mean, we'll see how Airfry wants to take this fight, because they could try and play for a longer fight, maybe force out these ults too, and then get set up for the rest of the map.
That grab, I think everybody got out of that! Was looking for the supports and ducked around the corner. Good play from Jonah and Ken. Speed from Jonah, able to get, Jonah and Minnie into safety. Ken was with them too, actually, now that I say that. And you see Ken taking the brunt of some damage. Did get a flip from KABA KACHOW, despite whiffing on that Graviton Surge.
Yeah, and they used the window too. I mean, Airfry just had to play so far back. They were so worried about those ults, and if they would have been playing open space against that window, you probably would have seen a whole team wipe because of that Graviton Surge and the window combo. But Airfry going in this next fight now, you have the Cure Wall, you have the Sojal, looking very good for you, especially in this tight quarter. If you can use the Cure Wall here, you're going to be set up very well, and it's going to happen, forces out the Immortality field.
But Elemento does manage to escape with their life. It now has another bubble code online to work with, so even has some resources to try to hold this door. Doesn't like standing out in the open, decides to give up all of the open space of the objective itself. AFMT, happy to capitalize on that. Push forward with a Molten Core. Kid got 4 last time, and it's already a quick 2. Ank is going to chase down Elemento, and Airfry solidify their control over this objective.
Yeah, and the one good thing in that fight that happened with KABA KACHOW is that their rotations were, you know, really, really good. They were able to kite so many ults, and it forced Airfry to have to commit the Torball at the end to try and get those picks. But KABA KACHOW, they still only have 1 ult. They'll be able to build the Graviton Surge, but, I mean, Rex on a radio could also build this Graviton Surge. This is looking very, very close, because Jonah's also going to be able to build the beat, so we'll see how this next fight goes. I mean, I'm still looking at this overclock on the side of Zombie. It could be huge if they can find the right picks.
I mean, does Elemental try to wait for Shadow? We'll see if Zombie can get anything on this overclock. It might determine how the rest of this fight goes. So far, nothing doing. Gets one, gets two on the Rex. Beautiful headshot and finds the VIP here from Airfry. Is able to run off Lucio. Jonah coming back. Does have that sound barrier ready to go if AFMT want to try to fight this out. But with Ken going down, that is looking less and less likely. And KABA KACHOW didn't have to spin Jonah. Jonah finds Zombie. Still hard on this point. Mania is going to get melted down. And Jonah is going to get melted down as well. Did get that sound barrier out, though.
Yeah, I don't think Airfry is going to be able to touch this because of how fast this point ticks down. If they can just play for the next point, they're looking all right. KABA KACHOW still has the ult advantage. They have the Graviton Surge and they have the Tor Bolt. But I mean, on the side of Airfry, if you can get set up on point early, I mean, it's looking pretty good. It looks like they will be able to get point because of, I mean, how far away it's going to be. So, I mean, on the side of Airfry, you're going to be able to build some ults, hopefully. This beat is going to be really huge, though, because it's going to keep you in this fight longer. Maybe you'll be able to build your ults. KABA KACHOW, they did use their beat kind of late in the fight, and you didn't really get as much value from it as you would have wanted. It helps you clean it up, but you were only applying like one person. So, I mean, we'll see how they want to take this fight, because, I mean, Airfry, they're going to have this high ground. They already have very, very good position on this point because of where their spawns were.
All right, we're headed over to Junkyard for this final point. KABA KACHOW must take this and hold on to this. Want to stay alive in this series, stay alive in this tournament. And that means they got to take this point from Rex. Rex is just going to back up around the corner, but doesn't go far. Has a sound barrier and a molten core at their back. Confident to stick around at this point. Take this duel against Elemento. One that they almost won. Elemento got a little bit of topped off, and here comes Rex with second round of fire, and that's going to be enough to get the job done. Airfry should take first control. Just a couple of cleanup kills here left.
Yeah, and you see the Tor Bolt trade kind of come out, and Jonah uses the beat to sustain that Graviton Surge that came out on the side of Elemento. They were not really able to find any picks with that Grav, and now going in this next fight, Airfry, they have this Kitsune Rush and the Overclock, which is a combo they've been running a lot. Whether, I mean, even if they don't stack them necessarily, I mean, one of the ults is going to give you a lot of space, and you can do the other one when you already have that space. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do with that, and it's going to be dependent on how they feel they need to take this next fight. Khan has the window, though, so you would like to see them get, you know, very aggressive with this Kitsune Rush, but I mean, we'll see. They're playing pretty far back right now. I mean, just trying to pocket Rex on a radio, and the window is going to come out. It's going to help KABA KACHOW take a lot of space here.
Yeah, this looks more of a defensive window, perhaps, for the healing. Ends up just running past it. I mean, I would have liked to see the window actually used on the high ground, perhaps, but they try to buy that space. It's going to force the engagement down low. Kitsune Rush is out here from Airfry. Elemento has to just duck around the corner. Rex is going to go chase them down. Gets kill on a Cog, gets kill on Elemento as well. Some help from your friends, and Airfry maintain control. 15% away, and this is looking like a done and dusted 3-0 semifinals. You do still have Shadow 3K hiding. Will get the touch, has initiated the overtime, but it won't last.
Yeah, I think that will be the end of this map. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to get a touch.
Oh,
and
that'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, Airfry, they're able to just use these ults. It felt like a little bit better than KABA KACHOW was able to. I mean, we saw that window. It was kind of placed a little far back. They weren't really able to get so much value from it. And then Airfry, they kind of baited KABA KACHOW in, used the Kitsune Rush, and then they were able to get the picks that they needed. So, I mean, overall, it was a very, very good series on both sides. I mean, yeah, it's a 3-0, but I mean, I do think that is not an accurate representation of how this entire series has gone. We've seen good plays from both sides. So, I mean, when we look at this, obviously, you know, Airfry, they're able to get the series win. They're going to be going into the finals now, I believe. So, yep. I mean, they're looking very, very good. They showed just a lot of very good things, and this Zarya looks very good for them. I mean, Rex is just doing so much work too. So, I mean, it's been very, very good for them overall.
I mean, the Zarya looked very strong in general. I mean, and just like a day of we saw a new patch, which means we're getting some new compositions. We even saw a bit of the new hero, and of course, we got to see some of the new game mode as well. And frankly, Airfry, Mariana Trench looked exceptional on all of it. I mean, the Zarya seemed to fit them really well, and it didn't look like they had really planned this. I mean, it looked like they had planned on the Orisa meta. It's what they started off with at the top of the series on Ilios. It's what we we saw all day yesterday from them, and they make those adaptations and still excel on the fly. I mean, if we had to give out a player of the match, I think it would have to go to Rex on a radio for that exceptional Zarya play all day long. And yeah, big congrats to Airfry. They're going to move on to the grand finals, like you mentioned. They'll be taking on the winner of MME ATX versus Smelvin. So that one started about a half hour before this match started. So those results may be in. Y'all out there, you may know who's going to be in the grand finals alongside Airfry. I do not, but I'm sure we'll have that match coming at you soon. We'll have, mid-season tournament going on all week long. We'll have a little bit of NA later on today. I know we've got a match at 7 Eastern, I believe, so hopefully we'll see you all then. But yeah, until then, that's going to do it for us. Tell them it's been a pleasure casting with you. Any final thoughts on our match today?
Yeah, just very good series overall, and it really has just been a pleasure to be here in cast.
Couldn't agree more. Big shout out to everybody behind the scenes. Who do we got? We had Hippie. Who was on ops today? Was it Rhino on ops today? Mark and Zeuser behind the scenes, so a big shout out to them. And thank you all so much for hanging out. Enjoying mid-season tournament here at CGL, and we will see you later on today. Bye, friends.
Got lots of love. Love. 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 Got lots of love. Love.